Okay, we are live, everybody. Let's call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Dr. Lee Corns. Mr. Spadaro.
Here.
Mrs. Ling.
Here.
Mr. Lemack.
Here.
Mr. McKenna.
Here.
Mr. Dice.
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich.
Here.
Mayor Sinan.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Nestico, do we have any unlisted amendments?
None for this evening.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to the consent calendar items. We just have the minutes tonight. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar items.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Jason and Carl. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you, everybody. That brings us to comments by the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dice. Our slide's already up here. Pioneer for the day for ages 8 to 12, July 11th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at the presented by the Murraysville Historical Society. It's at the Sampson Clark Toll House and Schoolhouse. The fee is $50 for that event. Next Tuesdays at Townsend's continue. The 11th, it's the James Stamps Richard Parker Trio. WPF Concessions, which is Wings, Pizza, and Fries, and Illusion Brewing Trio. Again, Townsend Park, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Every other Tuesday. The farmers markets continue. It's our 10th anniversary for having those Thursdays, 3 to 7 June through September, and they're down at the Fireman EMS Pavilion there on Sardis Road. And that concludes my announcements.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Let's do comments by the Chief Administrator. Mike?
There are none for this evening.
Okay, thank you. And that'll bring us to community input. Let's see if anybody signed up. Okay, thank you. For the good of the order, would anyone like to give community input? Okay, seeing none, we will move along to liaison comments and committee reports. Let's start at this end. Jason?
The library meets on the 20th.
Okay.
But if anyone's interested, the website has all the activities that are going on.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Carl?
Planning Commission meets next Tuesday, and the Parks and Recreation Foundation will meet later in July.
Okay, thank you. Tony?
Medic 1 meets in 2 weeks.
Okay. Jamie?
Next school board meeting is August 14th.
Awesome. Thank you. Matt?
We met last week for the Parks and Recreation, and we have the mayor kind of hit on it. Tuesday at Townsend's the next event that we have. We did meet up at we met up at Kovalchik Park, so that's where the new baseball field is, and we got to take a look at it, talk to some of the neighbors. So they're doing a great job with these parks. Each of the neighborhood parks are, on the docket for each year for updates and whatnot. So please, the community, anyone has any input on one near them, we're listening to any advice.
Yeah, definitely. Email us, call, whatever's
Yeah.
easier. Definitely. Okay. Pension, anything?
Nothing new to report.
Yep. Going good. FTMSA meets in a couple of weeks as well. It appears we have no workshop items this evening, so that's going to take us straight to our action items. Wes, is 13A still a go, or do we need to talk about that?
Mr. Dice, I think that 13A should be put on hold for a little while. That's authorization to solicit bids for the development of the Utica Sands underneath Duff Park. Many of the parcels that comprise Duff Park were acquired through ECNR grant funding, and there is a covenant in each one of the deeds where the grant funding was used that indicates that We cannot grant any surface or subsurface property interests to any individual or entity without, it just says that. I think the logical conclusion is therefore, in order to do the lease, you would need DCNR approval. I have spoken with representatives from the DCNR. They are requesting information on that issue. I suspect everything will resolve itself. There have already been inquiries made as to the approximate amount of revenues that the municipality would derive from that leasing, and there has been indicia to the effect that those revenues may have to be earmarked for other recreational purposes. So I think at this point in time, we've got to work through that process to be sure that we're available to solicit bids and enter into a lease agreement.
Okay, awesome. So that's
Just a question, Wes, is that the Utica or the Marcellus?
Only the Utica, Mr. Stepanovich. The Marcellus is undevelopable under Duff Park because of a fault.
fault. Gee.
That just means that the sands aren't, they've moved. Okay, so the Utica is developable, but the Marcellus is not.
Okay, any other questions or concerns from council about this item? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to table both 13A and 13B, please?
Make a motion to table 13A and 13B. Second.
Let's go Jamie and Jamie. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thanks, everybody. That brings us to 13C. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to consider authorization to advertise for bids for the sale of used police vehicles.
I think we skipped one.
Skip C.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or B.
B got tabled.
Or that's,
Cyber
that's right, you
insurance.
got it.
A motion to, did we,
It's the renewal of the cyber insurance?
oh, yeah, okay.
Can we make that one?
Sure, yeah.
Let me just sit here on this one.
You got the next one.
That's 13C.
I make a motion to authorize renewal of the cyber insurance with Travelers in the amount of $6,240 for the fiscal year of August 2023 to July of 2024. Second.
Jamie and Jamie. Mike?
Sure, this is just an annual occurrence to renew our cyber insurance policy, protecting the municipality from cyber insurance fraud or crimes, things like.
Obviously important. Questions or concerns from council? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thanks, everybody. Carl?
Okay. It's been a long day. I'd like to propose a motion to authorize advertising for auction bids through Municipid for the sale of 5 used police vehicles.
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Tony. Pretty self-explanatory, but Mike, any explanation or anything?
No, it is pretty self-explanatory, but there are quite a few vehicles to sell. We were hoping to do it in one lot. We have an understanding that there are some interested buyers for the lot of vehicles, so it will be more economical, more efficient from an administrative standpoint to sell them all in one lot. And so that's what we're hoping to do with this item.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how many police cars do we have just about?
Jeez.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Something that I'll need to know, but I don't know offhand. I wouldn't even be able to take a guess at it, to be honest with you. I'd probably be wildly off.
Yeah,
I know
no
that-
speculation.
Yeah, so I can't answer that for you, but I can certainly get you that information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. Council, questions, concerns?
Nope.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to 14A. Can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the demolition of dangerous structure located at 6283 Old William Penn Highway, bearing tax map number 49-16-14-0-103.
Second.
Thank you, Tony and Jason. Michael?
Yes, so this is the property that was in discussion at last meeting's public hearing. So council at that time made a motion to declare it a dangerous structure. We're coming back now asking you to authorize demolition of the property pursuant to the ordinance, the demolition ordinance from 2021. By authorizing the demolition, staff would then begin to take steps to put the demolition out to bid, finding the lowest bidder for that, the demolition. If it ultimately were to play itself out, we would lien the property with a 10% penalty pursuant to the terms of the ordinance. I will make a mention that this property is up for judicial sale this coming Friday in a couple days. We haven't heard any feedback from the community relative to any interest in acquiring the property, but that's not to say that someone may or may not come forward at the judicial sale hearing. If that does occur, it can only be looked at as a positive because there will be someone then to approach about addressing the concerns of the property, repairing the structure, or demolishing it. If they don't come forward, then we're no worse off. Meaning if nobody comes forward and buys the property, we're no worse off. We'll be right here where we are. So just a little nuance to it. But otherwise, just asking council to authorize the demolition for this property.
Okay. The one thing I noticed is I did get a call from FTMSA, and they said if we do end up demoing it, just make sure that we coordinate with them to cap the tap because it has public sewer. I'm sure that's standard. They just let me know. Any other questions or concerns? Ooh.
If they, so if somebody does buy that at the judicial sale Friday, then they have the option of just either demolishing it themselves or like they would take all that burden on as well.
Correct. So anybody that would come forward and acquire the property would take it as is and subject to, again, any of the existing liens that may already exist or any future issues with the property. So in this particular case, again, if somebody came forward, though, that's somebody that we can start to communicate with about either a repair or a demolition. Right now, the property is in a state, the owner passed away, and there's nobody to essentially hold responsible, if you will. So in these situations, if somebody were to come forward, now there is an individual to hold responsible for whatever the outcome may be. And again, if somebody were interested in coming forward, that would also be probably a positive sign that they want to repair the property. Again, it's in very bad shape, and it seems unlikely, but unless, of course, there were a neighbor that wanted to acquire it to have a side lot. But again, they would take on then the responsibility of demolishing it, so take it out of our hands as well. So I think either way it would be a positive.
Yeah. If we demolish it and then somebody purchases it, they take the responsibility to pay back what we paid.
Well, yeah, so we would lien the property, and then they would be responsible for that. Now, again, it depends on how the property is transacted. If it goes through some type of free and clear sale, that may be a little bit more difficult. But nonetheless, we have a difficult property here within the community that we need to resolve some way, somehow. So sometimes you have to take your lumps and complete the demolition, and you may or may not see a return on that investment, if you will.
Yep.
Should the property be purchased at the sale, how long does the new owner have to bring the structure up to compliance or demolish it?
Well, I mean, technically, they're on the clock, according to the public hearing last meeting and where we stand today. But certainly, we would work with anybody that were willing to come forward. If someone wanted to take on the property, we're going to give them, enough time to be able to make those repairs or to address the issues that we have. So we would work with them. There's no set time, but they are, I guess, on the clock as we speak now, even though the sale hasn't taken place. And I would, again, maybe defer to the solicitor to provide any additional feedback regarding some of the legalities of it, but that's my understanding of how we would address it.
Absolutely.
I don't know that Mr. Nestico said the property is on the judicial sale. I'm assuming that is not the free and clear sale that you're referring to, Mr. Nestico?
No. Well, I think Friday is Friday is, I think a judicial sale, yeah. Yeah.
Because there can be private judicial sales, and then there can be free and clear sales. But Mr. Nestico's point's well taken. Who somebody were to buy the property, which would be the best alternative and resolution for the municipality, because then either A, the municipality would have somebody to negotiate with on either the repairs, or B, somebody to negotiate with on the demolition, which it could include the HUD program, which is a federal program where properties are demolished at the expense of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. All the property owner has to do is to sign off on the agreement to have it condemned in that fashion. So then in that case, the municipality is not out the money for the demolition, and you don't have to fret trying to get the money back on a municipal lien. So keep your fingers crossed. I think the best alternative would be somebody to buy the property.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, before we vote, any final questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, everybody. That brings us to 14B. Can I have a motion, please?
Hey, Dane,
Yeah.
I would like to suggest that we possibly table this until the next meeting. I had requested last week some information on parcel sizes within the community, starting
Okay.
at 1 acre and going up every half acre that we are waiting on from the county. They have not
Okay.
gotten back to us yet. I think it's just prudent for us to spend a little bit more time looking at what we have existing in our community before we institute a new ordinance.
Yeah, based on the lot size exemption we were talking
Yeah,
about?
I think
Okay.
we need to spend a little bit more time.
Okay. Council, thoughts, staff, anyone?
That's fine.
Fine with me. Helen's-
We did reach out to the county to gather that information. They are working on compiling a spreadsheet, if you will, of all of the parcels in the municipality with the acreage and things like that. So as soon as we get that information, then we can start to sift through it and maybe drill down on something that's a little bit more precise for the terms of the ordinance.
How long do they typically take to get back with requests? I can't even imagine the request that size.
I don't think it's a terribly difficult request, but it's, I think, of course, it occurred right before a holiday weekend, so it may have been part of the holdup. But I mean, they're building out a spreadsheet from the existing data that they have, so I don't think it would take too much longer to get that information.
That makes sense to me. Do we maybe want to say if for some reason we don't have it by the end of August or something, we can vote and then we can amend it as soon as we get that information, but right now we have no protection at all against these sort of rentals in our community.
Sure, I think we should table it, but honestly, let's just have it on the next meeting agenda, and if we need to table it again, we'll table it again, or if it's ready to go, it's ready to go. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great insight.
Okay, so at this point then, I will need a motion to table 14B, please.
I'd like to motion to table 14B.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Jamie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 14B is tabled. Let's make sure that's on the next July agenda. Any old business from anyone? Any new business? Okay, we do have an executive session tonight to talk about some real property and CBA matters. I'm guessing we're not going to have any action coming out of that executive session? No. Okay, so I just need a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn to executive session.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Wow.